Well, hello, everybody. We are so happy to be here today. My name is Stephanie Bush, and I teach in the Child Development and Family Studies program in the Human Sciences Department.
I'm Candy Smith. I'm an activity director at Stones River Manor for 8 years now.
Okay. I'm Beth Emery, and I teach in the area of child development and family studies, and I'm the coordinator for Family and Consumer Studies program in Human Sciences.
And I am Jennifer Austin, and I got my undergraduate in child development, family studies, and am now in graduate school for health and performance. I'll be graduating.
Okay. And the purpose of this workshop presentation is to give you guys a brief overview of two of the experiential learning classes that we have in the Child Development and Family Studies program. The first being Aging, Health, and Development, which is a fully integrated service learning course. And the second is Family-Centered Community Building 2, which is not fully integrated, but we do have a pretty heavy service component in that course. So to begin, I'm going to give you guys a brief overview of the course and just tell you what the course description is. The course description states that students in this course develop an understanding of the aging process, particularly as it relates to active aging and health and wellness. Students are involved in lecture. So what we do with this class, it's a 3-hour undergraduate and graduate course. So students can actually take this as an undergraduate student and take it again as a graduate student if they would like. They can also take it up to 3 times, not because they did poorly, but because they really did an excellent job in the class, and they can take it and fill different roles depending on what they see themselves doing in the future. And we can provide them with a new skill set with each time that they take the course in a leadership role. Okay, and so once again, this is 3 credit hours, and we meet every Friday from 12:40 to 4:40 off campus. We have our community partners listed over here for you guys to see. Our current community partner is Stones River Manor Assisted Living. Candy Smith, once again, is the activity director out there. And then we have past partners / current partners, but we aren't with them every single week. That would be St. Clair Street Senior Center and Community Care of Rutherford County. As you know, Community Care of Rutherford County is a nursing home, and St. Clair Street Senior Center, of course, is a senior center. And so we have a really good fit right now with Stones River Manor Assisted Living, a really good partnership established, and could not ask for a better partner to help us from week to week to help teach our students. Okay? And basically, as I mentioned, we meet for 4 hours every Friday. Since this is fully integrated, that means that we are out in the community every single week, with the exception of the first 2 to 3 weeks of class where we'll meet on campus, and we have an orientation that takes place during those 3 weeks. And then we continue our orientation when we go out to Stones River Manor Assisted Living. So this class is an intergenerational service learning class. The point of this class is to bridge the gap between the young and the old, to help students understand that we have more similarities than differences, to challenge attitudes that pretty much are set by the time we reach 12 to 13 years of age. Literature states that it's really hard to challenge those attitudes, but you need experiences to overcome some of these preconceived notions, these preconceived ideas of how people are. And so that's really the purpose of this class, is to introduce students to the elderly, because, you know, the elderly, 85 plus especially, is the fastest growing segment of the population. There are jobs. We are about to approach a mass geriatric society. We have to prepare our students for these jobs. But guess what? Students don't want to do that. They're scared. And they just really don't. When you think about working with the elderly, they don't want to do it. And I am a living, breathing example of how a class can change an attitude. I took this course as an undergraduate student. I was 19 years old, and I dreaded this class more than anything. I did not want to take this class. I knew I had to do it for graduation, so I pushed it off to my senior year. And my stomach, just nerves, I was dreading it. Because I've not, you know, I didn't have much experience. My grandparents lived very far away. I've moved around my entire life. And this course changed my life. It truly did. It changed my attitudes. I ended up taking the class again. I pursued a master's degree as a result. I did my research on intergenerational attitudes and how they're changed as a result of service learning. Service learning, experiential learning changes lives, and I am now teaching the course in the university, so I can tell my students, I have been there. I know exactly what you're going through. Yes, I was scared as well, and it's okay. We can overcome this. But had it not been for experiential learning, I don't know where I would be today, and I don't know where my attitudes would be either. So it really did shape the person that I am. I'm an advocate for the elderly, a registered ombudsman. I have done, I've got several certifications in that. And so, as I've mentioned, this class means so much to me, and I love that I can teach it. So I have been teaching this course as a faculty member since 2007. So I've been able to see a lot of different students go through this and see students such as Jennifer take it for the first time. And she will tell you about her experience here in a minute. Okay, so we work for like 4 hours. We go through the orientation for 5 weeks. And that's really, you know, it's important to give your students orientation, to really give them a background for your service experience so that they aren't fearful and you're not sending them out ill-prepared into the community. You have to give them the background information. You have to make sure that they're prepared for this. So we have, you know, as I mentioned, during the orientation, I lecture, I go over content that was covered in the prerequisite course, Families in Later Life. I go over that, make sure that they are prepared, because these students will work with independent, assisted living folks, and also assured care, which means that they have Alzheimer's, dementia. So I need to make sure that they understand these cognitive impairments and how that can affect relationships, and how not to take things personally if somebody forgets your name. And Candy's really great about providing them with information that kind of fills the gaps. And so during that orientation, we collaborate a lot, and we have a lot of different teachers in this course. And you'll notice that when you do experiential learning, or if you currently are, you don't just have one teacher. You have the student. You have the students are teaching, you know, what they're doing. They're contributing. They're teaching. We have our community partners that teach. I teach. The elders that participate in our program, they're teachers. There's a lot of different teachers and a lot of different learners, and that's what's so exciting about it. All right, so our students, we prepare them to work with the elderly and the differing mental capacities that they're dealing with. And so we want them, so we're preparing them to plan activities, really, that enhance the physical, the social, the cognitive, all these different components. We want them to enhance these areas for our elders. All right, and so what you see up here is a sample project, a walk through life. So our students have to plan one large group, and that is for those who really have minimal impairments, minimal problems with ADLs, activities of daily living. They are with the independent living and assisted living area of the facility. And so we prepare them to plan one large activity for them. And then they also plan one smaller activity for those who are dealing with Alzheimer's and dementia. And so, as you notice, there's an activity plan on the screen to the left, and I know you guys can't read it. I apologize because it's a little blurry. But we go over this activity plan during our orientation sessions. So we have them come up with something like, what are you interested in? What can you give others? Do you have a talent? Do you like to cook? Do you like to sing? Do you know, whatever. The possibilities really are endless as far as what the students would like to do with the residents. They just know that they have to plan an activity that, you know, that contributes to wellness. And so with that, we'll collaborate, we'll get ideas. If they say that they have an interest in this, they write on their plan that the intended population is, say, male, females, because unfortunately, assisted livings, we have not many males. So sometimes they want to do an activity just for them, you know, and I think that's pretty cool. They'll have like a pool tournament or something going on just for the males, and they'll have a separate activity for the females, such as like a spa day or something like that. So they'll put their intended population, they'll mark that. And by the way, this is an actual activity plan that directors do use. So they see something that they, you know, that is used across the country. And so this is an actual document that they've used in assisted livings and nursing homes. So they mark all that, and then they let us know what the pre-preparation is, the steps for implementing the activities, and the supplies needed. Okay, so for this specific activity, they decided that they wanted to focus on particular memories from life that individuals keep with them. And so they created, part of their assignment is to create an invitation. So they have to have an invitation that states, we are doing this, that, and the other next week. These students actually had something where they wanted individuals to bring pictures with them. So they put on their activities, please provide a picture next week. We're going to come visit you. Bring a picture when we're here. And so they brought a picture with them. And then these students actually created a game that you see in front of you on your table. And it's called the Game of Life. And so the pictures are of individuals that are meaningful to the student. And then they created this Game of Life. And as you see right here, they also come up with a newsletter that has some type of stimulating activity, a cognitively stimulating activity to help with cognition. It might have, I don't know, trivia on it. It has a welcome. This is what we're doing today. Thank you for joining us. Announcements, all that on there. And then this is some of the pictures from the activity. Okay, so while these residents, these elders, are playing this game, which they love, by the way, and I think it is just, to me, this is one of my favorite activities. Because the students came up with it on this game they developed on their own. It does look similar to Chutes and Ladders, but it's played completely different. As you see, there are 4 stacks of cards on the game board, and there's some jewels. And how you start it, you have the young and the old. So our students that are not planning this activity, so we have 4 to 5 that plan the activity, and the rest of the students in the class, about 16 to 20 students, they are participants, and so they sit with the elders. It's all intergenerational. This game is completely intergenerational. All right, so they sit. We have maybe 2 students, 2 elders sitting together at a table, and they pick up a card. And Carol, you want to pull a card and tell me what the card says?
If you had the opportunity to learn how to do something new, what would it be?
So that's an example. So the person would pick up the card, and they'll answer the question, and they'll tell them to move 2 spaces, and so they'll land on a different color, and the next turn they'll pick up a card of that color. So that's how they start. They choose whatever color card they want, and then they keep rolling. And it really does show us that, hey, we have something in common. You're not just over here, and I'm not over here. We can come together. We both have memories to share of our first car and our favorite teacher. It brings our class and the elders together very nicely, especially if we do this like during our first meeting. And this was done during our first class meeting, and the elders actually request this game every single semester. They love it. I mean, they love it. And I will tell you, these students made 12 boards. And they came up with all this on their own, and that took them a lot of time. So while they were playing this game, the students that created this activity took the pictures, scanned them in, printed them out, cut them out, and put them on buttons for the elders to wear. And I get a little emotional when I talk about some of the things with this class because it means so much to me. But there was one lady that mentioned to me how important this was because she had lost her husband, and she said, I can wear him over my heart every day now. And that was so sweet, and she was so proud of this button. And so I just have the picture up there to illustrate that. But these are, memories, and these are so important, and all of us are important regardless of what age we are. And as I mentioned, this class has done so many things for me, and I know how it's affected students and the Manor itself. And so I would like Jennifer, and at the end we're going to go over questions. So if you have any questions about the specific game or you want other ideas, I'm happy to provide those because we have scrapbooks on the tables with other activities listed. But I'm going to have Jennifer discuss her experience with aging, health, and development and how this experiential learning class affected her.
Okay, so I just wanted to begin with a quote. And in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. And I thought this quote by Abraham Lincoln was a perfect description of really my time at Stones River Manor and really just the residents' overall outlook on life. They brought meaning to this quote and really gave purpose to my life. And that's something that I can never thank them for enough. I learned many valuable lessons during the course, with many of them being lifelong lessons that I will cherish forever. When I changed my major to Child Development Family Studies, I really envisioned only working with children. And after this course, I kind of changed my opinion completely. And I didn't necessarily expect to love the class or form the attachments that I did, but I'm so grateful that I was able to do that. And this class really opened my eyes to a new career choice, working with the elderly. And again, that's not something that I envisioned whatsoever. But the residents were just, they're amazing people, and they really brought out that passion in the field for me. This class, the staff, residents, and the volunteers at Stones River Manor inspired me in every way, but most importantly to pursue my work in this field, which is something that I'm definitely considering. Because of the class, I was able to form not only a connection with Stones River Manor, but also to the community, which has brought about so many relationships and amazing opportunities. I love this class so much that I took it 3 times. And then I had the amazing opportunity to intern at Stones River Manor for my first internship. And it was amazing. And I learned so much. And I have seen in the time that I've spent at Stones River Manor, I've seen how lives change within students. Just for an example, there was a student that she completely had a phobia for elderly people. She had never really been around elderly people. Grandparents didn't play a role in her life. And she took the course and she was scared to death, which is crazy to me because I have always loved the elderly. But she literally was very frightened. She wasn't familiar, wasn't comfortable to her. She took this class and completely, it changed her life. She ended up taking it again, just like I had. She loved it so much, and she said that without this class, I would have never formed the relationships that I did, and really opened my life up to that possibility. So it is so important for students to get this opportunity. It was so beneficial to my life, and like I said, I now am considering this as a career choice. So it's something that I valued, and it was amazing, definitely.
Thank you, Jennifer. And as I mentioned, it's important with experiential learning to make sure you have strong partners that want to be part of the learning process with you, that understand the importance of what you're doing. And so with that being said, I asked Candy if she could share a little bit about the importance of what MTSU's class brings to Stones River Manor, our Aging, Health, and Development class.
I was asked to to talk about the impact of the program on our community. And I spent hours thinking about this, and many things come to mind. It's just, we have so many memories, so many things that's happened. So the first thing I would like for ask y'all to do, because I am an activity director, I do plan activities, so this is what I'm going to have y'all do. For a moment, we're going to close our eyes, and we're going to pretend and imagine and go back to our childhood a little bit and imagine your life. Imagine your life without a car. More importantly, nowhere to go. You have sold your house. You have to find a new place for most of your possessions so that you can move into one room, literally one room, 2 closets, and a bathroom. The Sunday dinners that you've cooked every year for weeks for your family have turned into maybe a once a month visit of 30 minutes. You can see your health failing daily. The meals are scheduled for you. You eat the same time every day. Everything is very much routine. And then one day, you hear of this exciting event happening. It's with MTSU students. So with nothing else to do, you decide to go. At this event, you meet a young, energetic girl. You instantly become friends. She talks to you, not about medication or the fact that you need to go to dinner or anything like that, but she talks to you about her family, her life, even about her date she's going to have Friday night. And as the event comes to an end, she tells you that she'll be back next week. And you're filled with excitement because you know that next week you'll get to hear how her date went. So when you go back to your room, and pardon me if I tear up on this, but when you go back to your room, you realize that for a short time, you didn't feel the aches and pains so much anymore. But you can't wait until next Friday. You can open your eyes. Dry your tears. I should have brought. This is one thing about when MTSU comes to our place. This is how we leave.
At the end of every semester.
Now, I know you men may not get emotional, but us women are.
All the time. Nobody cries alone.
And I bring tears anyway. So. But what you just imagine is just a small glimpse of what a resident can experience through this program. The students bring life to our community. They bring the outside in, and that's one thing I talk to them when they come. That's what they bring. The program allows residents to live through the lives of these students. Things that they've long forgotten, the students bring back to them, like dating and just boyfriends and getting married and so forth.
How to choose the right partner.
Yeah.
Help with that.
If you got your shirt too low, they will tell you.
Oh, they will.
Life skills. And they don't understand all them piercings. But they are old school. But the program also fosters long-time friendships. We have one resident that met a girl 4 years ago, and they still talk. She's been to Thanksgiving dinner with this young lady and her family, and she's been invited to her wedding also. And then we had a resident that moved out of our facility and decided she was going to live on her own for a while. And shortly after she came back, and she said it was because she missed those kids that come every Friday. Because they don't understand. They just know they come and have fun with these kids. But they build that personal relationship with that short amount of time. Mm-hmm. But the program not only teaches the students, to me, but I believe it's the impact on their lives forever. And as far as the impact on the community, I believe it's life and hope and a reason to live. And it's everything to these residents. The benefits are countless. But it's truly a great, great program for our facility and for the students, I believe. And pardon me for crying.
Oh, no, it's okay. You're not alone. And can you see why I love this partnership right here? Because it means, right? It's meaningful. Relationships are meaningful. Thank you, Candy, so much for sharing that. That was wonderful to hear. To be reminded, we need to be reminded that people matter, regardless of what you're dealing with in life. And so the elders, they get a chance to mentor. Sometimes we feel like they're not useful anymore because they're not working. You're not working. What can you contribute? A lot. It enhances physical fitness. They can maintain or improve mental alertness, increase social interaction. We have several residents that this is the only activity that they come to throughout the week. The only thing that can get them out of their rooms is to come to our program, the Aging Health and Development
Because they've had
program.
that one-on-one time with somebody, and it really means a lot to the residents. And so they come to that because we have a staff of 4, but we can't be individual with 50 people. So it really impacts them, and it's a great learning for the residents also.
And don't let the fact that it's a fully integrated course intimidate you. This can be done on varying levels. You can just have a class project and you go work with them one time during the semester. But I encourage you to look at intergenerational projects because our elders are untapped resources. They have a lot to offer, and we have a lot of different places that you can partner with that are readily available. Okay, so we'll take questions at the end, like I mentioned, with this particular class. But I wanted to finish with talking about aging health and development with a tea party that our students did last semester out at Community Care of Rutherford County Nursing Home. There's just a few pictures. We had just a group of 4 plan a huge tea party out there, and they just got all dressed up and did all the props and everything for it. And of course, the nursing home residents are 24-hour skilled nursing care. This was a much smaller scale than the assisted living, but it was still amazing nonetheless. It was something very different. Just wanted to show you guys some pictures of, a single activity that can be implemented because this was just one that the students did. It was their class project for the year.
And Stephanie was Alice in Wonderland.
Yes. You can't, you have to do. If you're telling them they got to do this, sometimes you participating just gives all, I don't know, they respect that. As much as I did not want to be Alice, I participated. So, but I love Community Care of Rutherford County. They're another strong partner of MTSU, not just of our department, but of the university at large. So once again, they're always needing people to come in and do activities there. And the director is to the bottom here with the red hat on. It's the director of the nursing home, Mark King. Amazing contact. You can take your class out there for tours at any point. One of our graduates, Nathan, is up here, the right picture. He's the bunny. He actually is a graduate of our program, and now he's an activity director out there. This was a class that changed his life as well. So as you see, it does wonders for students and their perspectives and career aspirations. And so these are just pictures of the nursing home. And if you haven't been to community care recently, if you've been there before, they have made some serious changes. They are in the process of just restructuring the whole facility. It's a really neat place to visit, so I encourage you just to get out there. All right, so the next service learning class that we are going to discuss is Family-Centered Community Building 2, all right? And Family-Centered Community Building 2 is an undergraduate course. I don't know if you guys remember Al Gore being on campus, but this is the class that he pretty much started years ago. I can't tell you how many years ago that was, but it's been a while. It's been a while, okay? And there is a prerequisite course to this class. But it looks like next year we're going to be able to take different majors, and we'll discuss that here in a minute. But students apply academic experiences and knowledge to an identified community need. So within this course, it's not fully integrated, but as I mentioned, we do have a pretty heavy service learning component to it, where the students identify something that they are interested in. So we know that we're going to help the community. We are going to learn about varying topics, but we really let the students lead this class. It's really student-led. And so our current partner is Universities Fighting World Hunger. And Dr. Emery is going to talk about Universities Fighting World Hunger in a minute. But our community partners along with that is Murfreesboro City Schools Backpack Program, Wilson County Schools Backpack Program, Woodland Elementary Backpack Program, Short Mountain Backpack Program, Stones River Manor Assisted Living. We formed a partnership with them, also with this specific course, and then MTSU's Food Pantry. So I am going to let Dr. Emery explain how the partnership with Universities Fighting World Hunger began.
Okay. So, do you want to sit?
Oh, I'm good. I'll stand.
Okay.
I'm a pacer.
She's a pacer.
Maybe I will sit, yeah.
Okay. First off, why partner with Universities Fighting World Hunger? I have to give you a little bit of a history about Universities Fighting World Hunger. In the year 2000, the United Nations established the Millennium Development Goals, the MDGs. How many of you are familiar with the Millennium Development Goals? Okay, some. Okay, there are 8, I believe. I know where to find out what they are. And what the Millennium Development Goals were, these were goals that the UN came up with to meet the needs of the poorest communities and the poorest countries in the world. Okay, and the number 1 goal for the UN was to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger, and to cut them in half by the year 2015. Well, we're not going to do that. It's not been possible. When this was established, and I think the statistics for 2007 through 2008, we had, global financial crisis, which hit, a lot of countries hard, and, this whole issue of hunger became even worse. We had close to 1 billion people who were chronically hungry in the world. And our population is, 7 billion? Something 7, almost 8 billion. So that's extreme. That's serious. And the good thing is that we have made a lot of strides. The number for, the most recent number is 842 million hungry in the world today. So it's getting better. But not only did the UN do these Millennium Development Goals, but they also put forth the idea that the eradication of hunger can only be achieved if universities collectively share, and I'm reading from their work, collectively share the load with government and the private sector, NGOs, and the philanthropic faith-based organizations. All of these, governments are working, private organizations are working, faith-based organizations are working, but what the UN wanted to do is draw in universities. Why? Because universities have an environment in which they create, hopefully, innovative and sustainable solutions to serious problems. The youth. And this is very much a youth-oriented, student-oriented movement, if you will. Excuse me. And so the UN went further, to link this concept with universities, with academia, to say, and I quote, "Today's students and educators are living in a global village of the 21st century. They recognize that feeding mouths is the first step to feeding minds, and it is a global responsibility." So how does this come to us? In 2004, Dr. June Hanton, who's the Dean of Human Sciences at Auburn University, was invited by the United Nations World Food Program to take the lead in establishing an academic partnership with the World Food Program. I know June well, and she said, they came to me and said, would you be interested in, starting this War on Hunger initiative that we have? And she said, you're sitting there in the UN and these people are talking. She said, you can't say no. You can't say no. She said, and when I said, well, yes, of course, we'll do this. I'm thinking in my head, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How are we going to do this? So, that was a very interesting, huge challenge. And it afforded Auburn University the opportunity to create a really new creative learning environment for students and also for faculty and for administrators, where you can take, the intellectual discovery process and couple it with social responsibility, to deal with this issue of domestic and global, hunger. So currently, we'll be in our 10th year of this War on Hunger initiative, and it now includes over 300 universities around the world. MTSU is one. We're very proud to be one of them. The movement is gaining momentum and is having a very strong impact, as you've heard before, on students and worldwide, not just our country. And the interesting thing is that our class, and we also have a student organization eventually, thanks to Jennifer, but our class, to my knowledge, it was first and I believe only class to take on this initiative. Every other university around the world and has looked at this as a student organization. We're the only class that's done this. So they look to us, the leaders are looking to us for, that template. How did we do this? What did we do? Why did we do this? So, how do we become involved? And, I sort of want to take this very quickly to how do you decide on any service learning project or any experiential learning project? And I think what it is, it's very simple. It's personal contacts. Dean Hinton is a friend of mine and a colleague for several years. I've known about her involvement with the War on Hunger, and now it's housed under the banner of Universities Fighting World Hunger. But I've known about that since the beginning, and she was so passionate about it. So I think it's a personal contacts, first of all. It's personal interest. What are you interested in? Like Stephanie said, with the students in the AHEAD program, what can you do with the elderly? They think, oh, I can't do anything. I can't do anything. Yes, you can. Can you sing? Can you dance? Can you, draw? What is it? So it's personal interest. And I think it's the recognition of a need that exists in a community. And I mean, who can deny, children who are hungry? I mean, it's just, something that people will rally around. So anyhow, getting back to our class, I knew June Hinton, and I think it was in December of 2009, Stephanie and I were sitting around in my office, and we were saying, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with Family-Centered Community Building 2? What's our project going to be? And it hit me, duh. What about hunger issues? What about, universities fighting world hunger? So we called up Auburn University and the Office of Universities Fighting World Hunger, and they sent us an incredible amount of resources and information, and it was overwhelming at the time, and we just decided to go with it. So, that's how it happened, and it keeps growing and growing, and, the students get passionate about it. How do the students get involved? I think a lot of it's due to us. We're passionate about it. We'll cry.
We're not afraid.
We're not proud, and that's part of my philosophy is nobody cries alone. Somebody starts to tear up, and talking about this stuff it is wrenching. So, when you're personally passionate about something, that comes across to the students, and they take up the banner, and that's the thing that then becomes important and rewarding for us. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Stephanie.
And you're probably wondering how we implement what we do, and really how our course is structured is that we introduce and we lecture on hunger issues and what information we feel is important, because there's a lot to go over. And so students become aware of the complexities of hunger, both domestic and global, and then they analyze research and literature associated with world hunger. We ask for them to raise awareness in the community regarding the war on hunger, and then they complete several fundraising projects for the war on hunger. And so since we are partners with communities, with universities fighting world hunger, we have done so much for not just our, well, yeah, really for our community. And we've been able to attend several summits with like-minded individuals who are doing the same things in their university. But I want Jennifer. Jennifer has been with us with universities Fighting World Hunger since really it came to campus. And she was going to share a little bit about the students' perspective and what she experienced with universities Fighting World Hunger and this experiential learning class.
Well, this class really opened up my eyes to so many different issues, but it was completely life-changing for me in every possible way. And even those words alone I can't really describe to you what it done to me as a person. This class really sparked a passion in me that I didn't know existed. I gained so much knowledge and hands-on experience about hunger issues that surround those both locally and globally. And it really opened my eyes to the dire need for programs to alleviate hunger. And it also, it changed my perspective on life, but it proved to me that we as individuals, and more importantly students, have the ability and the opportunity to work together to improve the lives of others. And I think that's something that you don't get in a lot of classes. You don't get that opportunity to change somebody's life, and this class gives you that opportunity. It's completely student driven, and that's, I think, the best thing about the student or this type of class, these classes, because it does give the students full opportunity to really do whatever they have a passion for. One of the greatest things about this class as well as a head is to see the excitement and appreciation for a student on the teacher's face when they are able to hear your ideas and see all the hard work that you're doing. I think that if every student could experience gratification from their teachers, like I received from Dr. Emery and Ms. Bush, you would see more students have a greater passion for their majors, because that's something you don't always feel as a student. You don't always get that gratification, and I got all of that and then some with this class. Because of the class, I was able to make a substantial impact within the community and establish a relationship with several of the stakeholders within the Murfreesboro City School System, which has brought about some really awesome opportunities for me as well. Just like with my other class, after FCCB2, I had the opportunity to do an internship, which is where I did my first internship with my Child Development Family Studies major. And this internship was everything I hoped for and more. I did several different things with the internship. One of the most important things is I held a fundraiser and on campus, and it was titled "Feed a Child, Feed a Dream," and it was in the form of a spare change drive. And the campus, the teachers, the faculty, the students were so generous, completely supportive. Ms. Bush and I went into different classrooms, and we basically had the floor. We were able to talk to the students for even a couple of short minutes. We gave them, some of those hard-hitting statistics, and it was so interesting to see the change, the look on their faces, like, is this real? This really happens here in our community? And it does, and it's all about educating individuals, because it's not that they don't care, it's that they don't know. So it's bringing awareness to that. And so from the fundraiser, we were able to make over $1,300 in change from the students and teachers, which exceeded anything that I thought was even a possibility for a change drive. And so we then donated that money to the Murfreesboro City Schools and I believe Wilson County Schools backpack program. We are a huge supporter of the backpack program. And, you know, we as the students have the power to kind of decide which initiative we want to support. And a lot of times we do go back with the backpack program because it's amazing what they do for these children. So a lot of times our money does go towards the backpack program. But because of that fundraiser, I was then I presented this project to the Murfreesboro City School Board at a school board meeting, and I was also interviewed by the director of Murfreesboro City Schools, in which I explained the purpose of the fundraiser and the importance of consciousness raising and academic initiatives to end the hunger issues that surround those in our own community. And it was an amazing experience. I now want to do work with this cause as well. But I learned so much during this internship in this class. It's amazing. You really have the opportunity to help people in your own community and globally as well, if that's what you choose to do. But it was absolutely wonderful and the greatest learning experience and absolutely my greatest accomplishment at MTSU. And I'm now a master's student, and this still is my greatest accomplishment. And this class, I'm so thankful for Dr. Emery and Ms. Bush because they believed in me and they gave me this internship, and it was really life-changing.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right. So let's go into projects. Things that you can connect to and you can do possibly within the context of your classroom. So we're going to start with past service projects, and this is since our partnership began with Universities Fighting World Hunger. And so we want our students to become aware of these issues, and of course they identify the backpack program as the organization in which they would like to raise funds. And so with that, we want them to understand it from the inside out. And so we ask them to go find a local backpack program, Murfreesboro City, Wilson County, wherever. Learn about how they pack the backpacks, what goes in them, the recipients. And this is just a little bit about what that is. But the backpack program provides meals, well, not meals, but a backpack full of items that the kids who fall below the poverty line can take with them over the weekend. Those that, you know, for a lot of children, this is the only meal that they get, the only meals that they get are at school, and so they get a backpack full of food to take home throughout the weekend, and not only for themselves but for their siblings. And so our students love that, and the backpack makes it non-identifiable, so the other students, they don't know that they have a backpack full of food. So I think that's why our students connect to it, and we actually have several that come forth and say, I was that kid. I want to give back because I received. And so this is just an example of just an awareness of some awareness events that they participated in. As Jennifer mentioned, change drives, it was just a no-nonsense. Change for change works. It works for us every semester. But you want to provide material. You want to provide a media for whomever you're presenting the change drive to understand why you're doing this. Why is this an issue, rather than just give me 25 cents. Well, hey, 25 cents feeds a child. You donated $1, you're feeding 4 children. It takes $3.33 to fill up one of those backpacks. You just filled 4 backpacks. You know, give them, the students, the knowledge so that they can empower others. Because if you can tell me why I'm donating to your cause, that strikes me in a different type of way. Right. But Beth and I this always wins. And you see the red cup there. You'll see those around campus because we do still continue this change drive that Jennifer started. So another thing that our students have done, they participated in awareness events. They just go to health fairs and say, this is what's going on in our communities. We're trying to make a change. You can make a change too. Did you want to talk about this mayor? I know that you know the story with the mayor here in Wilson County.
Yeah, they went to the Wilson County Health Fair. Our students had a booth. And two, you can see we've all got our T-shirts.
We get them every semester.
I don't know if you can, this is the logo. And so they decide on the color, they choose. So yours was green, obviously. This is this year's. You'll see people in red.
Last year.
That was last year's. But basically, they were presenting this information, and this is a game they had for the kids. They had to toss plastic healthy food through the mouth, and then they got a prize.
Yeah.
Good healthy food.
Like a granola bar or something.
I can't remember. But anyway, the mayor of Lebanon came along, and they were talking about how many, I think 700 children in Wilson County are eligible for the backpack program, but they cannot meet all that, the needs. So he was so impressed that they did the Charlie Daniels rodeo, I think it was, and so he said, I didn't know this about my own community, about my own school system, that there was this big need in the county. And so he donated, a certain percentage of the Charlie Daniels rodeo to backpack programs. So that, you never know, who's
knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Thank you. I thought that was pretty neat. And now he contributes to that. He's a participant in that. We also did an awareness event called Why Care. We wanted to know why MTSU cared about hunger. And we just asked students, and this is once again just an awareness event. We weren't asking for anything. We just wanted to know, like, why do you care? Why is this something that's important to you? We snapped pictures. We uploaded it to the University's Fighting World Hunger website, representing MTSU, and that we do care, and we are fighting this with everyone else. And also, and that's where Stones River Manor comes into place, because Stones River Manor, as a result of a partnership we have with Aging Health and Development, they want to participate in whatever else we have going on. And so we went to Stones River Manor, and we asked them why they cared. And they were able to tell us. And it's just amazing, the stories. The lady in the middle, she was one of those hungry children. She was homeless for an amount of time, and it's very important to her. They raise money for us. They collect food. They do food drives, and they are one of our biggest supporters when it comes. Did you want to say anything to that?
Well, the residents love to do it. We used to do a canned food drive, so this took the place of that canned food drive. And so we collect items for the backpacks and stuff. So it's really helps our residents also to give back to the community rather than receiving, gives them a purpose.
They can go shopping and shop for the food, and it's really cool. All right, and then I just had two pictures here because we've done events with Painting with a Twist. We're just trying to, use our community resources, and Painting with a Twist is very generous, and they will donate a good, like half of the amount for painting the picture. So it's $35. I think we ended up raising close to $700 this day just with the fundraiser at Painting with a Twist. Over here to the left, we had these young ladies. They wanted to create tie-dye T-shirts and sell them. And
that was a passion of one of these, I think she's in the middle.
Yes.
It was her passion was to tie-dye. She tie-dyed everything.
She said, I want to do a tie-dye T-shirt fundraiser.
And we said, oh, okay. Go for it. And it was one of the biggest fundraisers.
Oh, they loved it.
Everybody wanted it.
And this little, you see this little snippet of information above the picture. They included that with all of the T-shirts. And so if you purchase a T-shirt, you'll get this, and I'll read it. Basically, the idea behind producing these tie-dye shirts makes up the sole purpose of our war against hunger. We believe the tie-dye shirts will act as a visual aid that helps make people aware hunger is an issue our entire world faces on a daily basis. To all the hungry people around the world, yellow, black, and white, true blue is here to make it right. So, and they wrote as to why, who's the benefit from this, who receives the funds. And so I thought that was pretty neat that they provided the information. They made it an awareness event, not just buy this, help us here. This is why, and this is what we're doing. And so that was, I didn't think it was going to be as successful as it was, but they made a lot of money off that fundraiser, and they touched a lot of people's lives, and I still see those T-shirts around campus today. Now this right here is very close to our hearts. Woodland Elementary School has a backpack program that is solely funded by the teachers. Murfreesboro City, Wilson County, they have, they're helped out by Second Harvest Food Bank, and they have some people that organize and take care of it. But there are a lot of schools that don't have those resources, Woodland Elementary being one of them. And our students wanted to do a food drive for them because they knew that the teachers were providing these backpacks with their own money. And they said, we want to help, and we had some students that are actually from this area, from Cannon County. This was a school that they identified. But I wanted to read to you guys a quote from one of the teachers. Our hearts are so full of gratitude for your generous contributions for our precious kids. Please let your students know what an awesome gift they have blessed our school with, and their hard work will definitely be appreciated. I wish you could only see the smiles on these kids' faces on Fridays when we hand them that recycled, crumpled plastic grocery sack full of food. It touches my heart that strangers have a love for our kids. And so what happened was, with this particular food drive that we did, this school, when we went, they let us know that their funds had run out. The teachers did not have any more food for the rest of the semester because, once again, teachers don't have a lot of money to give all these kids, and that we picked up exactly where they left off. This food was able to carry them throughout the rest of the school year, and they had enough food to give these kids for the rest of the year because of our class and what we did on a small scale. This helped one school and helped numerous amounts of children. And so they gave our class a volunteer service award. The principal awarded them with that, and that was pretty special to the students. And so, you know, it's once again a community need, an identified community need. We've also partnered with restaurants, and this is something very easy to do. I just put some of the samples of the flyers up here. There's a Cajun restaurant in Franklin that one of our students is affiliated with, and Papa, I don't know how to pronounce it, Boudreaux's, whatever. We're a great partner with Boudreaux's, yeah. Papa Boudreaux's. Yeah. They've allowed us to have a fundraiser there, and they've donated a certain percentage. Maggie Moose is a great partner because they let the students actually participate and scoop the ice cream. They teach them how to do that, and they will partner with MTSU. They love MTSU. I encourage you I just love how they allow us to work. They train them to scoop. We have one of our students, they will have to, yeah.
The costume.
Yeah, the cow, Maggie. And so that's a pretty neat partnership. We've got Blue Coast Burrito and Ponderosa. We've partnered with all of these guys. And, you know, they generally just give you a certain percentage. So it's really neat to see them work with these different restaurants and what we get out of that. Now, this is our current awareness event. It didn't show up, the print didn't show up. But this is what our students are doing this semester. So we tell them, we want you guys to raise awareness. We want you to go out into the community. This is just an example of where they've been. They've gone to Oakland Middle School, several MTSU classes, the Interior Design Showcase here on campus, Girl Scouts Club, and the Boys and Girls Club. They'll just go and talk about hunger issues and what you can do and all that. So
some of the groups have skits, you know, that they'll put on, and some of the groups have, you know, posters and activities with the kids, or, you know, adults, or whoever it is.
Yeah, but they identify. They're like, hey, I have a connection here. This is where I'd like to go. I want to work with children. I'd like to go to an elementary school. I want to go to a preschool and read Stone Soup and talk about it like that. They identify where they want to go and spread the word about hunger awareness. And I apologize for the font. It's not showing up for some reason. I don't know what's going on. But at least you have the pictures, right? That's what's important. We like visuals. Our students did a benefit concert at Rebel Joe's in town. And Rebel Joe's is a new coffee shop. It's on the square in Murfreesboro. Not heard of him. The owner's a great person, very supportive of the community. And so our students created this flyer, and we have one in the middle, Laura, who actually her group identified this as something they wanted to do. She actually played. It was a nice concert. We made about $600. They were outside of the coffee shop.
On the square, flagging down cars, flagging down cops.
They were okay
they were
with
going
it.
to take us away, but go for it.
People were just giving us change, and it was really, really neat. And we had just stuff out there displayed to talk about, you know, the war on hunger, what MTSU is doing, what you can do to help.
And the thing, too, about this is we had, four groups, I think we've got? Four or five groups in the class. And they all came up with their own fundraiser. And then they voted. They discussed it all. They voted. And I have to say that Stephanie and I have never done anything like this before, a benefit concert at a coffee shop. It's okay. You have to let them go. You know, You have to let go of the reins of control and trust that they can do it. They've never disappointed yet.
No,
You
they,
know, we've gone, oh, okay, you know,
yeah.
and you know they've always come through and been great. Yeah.
And they came up with this flyer. We didn't tell them to do this, but they developed a handout which has how you can help, statistics. Thank you so much. You know, and that was something that we were like, you know what, they got this. When they're passionate about something, they go. They go. You don't really have to light a fire. I mean, they lit it themselves. It's something they want to do. So yeah, during the event, they actually had a TV mounted, and the students came up with some statistics on hunger, and it scrolled the entire time and different stories. It's really touching, and you know, this was our main fundraiser this semester outside of the awareness events we've done inside the classroom, which we end up raising money that way because people just want to give. It's really by default, really, that happens. All right. Okay, so to conclude, Jennifer, did you want to give us a final
Yes.
summary?
All students should have the opportunity to take service learning courses in order to develop the tools and understandings to be effective and knowledgeable leaders in the diverse community where they will work and live. A student serving in a community develops a relationship with community members and at the same time develops a deeper understanding of the root causes and broader social issues that contribute to community problems. These courses are amazing and they are life-changing, and these two courses and the internships that followed have made such an impact on my life, and hopefully I can, you know, make an impact on others as well. But they are so worthwhile, and they really do spark an interest and a passion in you that you don't always know is there. So I think that that all students should have the opportunity to do these classes.
Well, we thank you guys for your time. Do we have a minute do we have time for questions, Carol? I know.
As long as people can stay, there's not another group coming in for a little bit, is there?
Not till 2:30.
Okay, so maybe 5 minutes or so on questions?
Do we have any questions? I know we gave you guys a lot of information.
I came in late. What's the, and I apologize, but what is the actual course? I've heard what you do.
Family Center Community Building, CDFS 4720.
Okay.
Family Center Community Building 2. And then we had one, I don't know if you were in here, for Aging, Health, and Development, which is CDFS 4391. Yeah.
This was an excellent job. I think we have a real treasure here, and I really appreciate you all.
Welcome. You guys are free to look at our scrapbooks if you have any questions, and feel free to email Dr. Emery or myself. We're happy to answer questions because, you know, it's not an easy thing. An experiential learning class, it's, you know, it does take work, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. And we hope that you were able to take that today with you as you leave, that it's definitely worth adding the experiential learning component to your class. But thank you guys.
Thank you.